Now, for the first match of King of the Table 9 was Sarah Collins versus Nisa from Turkey. Nisa was the heavy favorite coming into this match despite being only 19 years of age. First round inside the straps, too much side pressure pronation from Nisa. Sarah lifted her elbow but couldn't get the job done, couldn't get the stop. Second round without the straps, Nisa was able to get the pin. She climbed over the fingers of Sarah and there was no reply from the American woman. Round 3, this time Sarah Collins got the better of Nisa. She climbed over the top of her fingers but still couldn't get the pin. Nisa adjusted. Next time she added cupping instead of pronation and got the job done pretty fast. 3-0. Despite being trouble in the third round, she got the job done. Fourth round still curled her in and looked her into the eyes and just totally dominated her in that fourth round. Hook, top roll pronation, masterclass. Maybe she got advice to do that by the master Engiterzi himself. Fifth round inside the straps, once again too much cupping, too much pronation, went sideways. There was a call once again. They reviewed the pin. She was not happy about that, but then they restarted and Nisa was more than happy to do that once again. And that's the kind of domination we saw from her in the final round. No strap required, just held on to the hand, clamped with the fingers, went sideways. Valera versus Lars Rorbakken, probably the biggest surprise of the night. We all expected Lars Rorbakken to dominate this match, but in first round, in fact, the opposite happened. Valera just crushed Lars Rorbakken's pronation. Finger containment without the straps, just went sideways and pinned Lars like an amateur. That was his arrival at the big stage. And then we had a king's move from Lars Rorbakken inside the straps, but Valera showed great top roll. Then he stood up, switched to a flop press and pressed Lars Rorbakken down. Despite being in a slightly declined illegal king's move position, Lars still couldn't manage to hold him. In the third round, Lars switched to a flop press. Valera got caught and without the straps, Lars was able to take him down to the pad and the round was over. That was the comeback made from Lars Rorbakken. The fourth round, Lars Rorbakken once again inside the straps went to a flop press. Valera went into a king's move and luckily he didn't get pinned. He got fouled out. He got fouled in that round. After the restart, he was able to keep Lars outside of his shoulder. He was able to attack first and pin him. But after that, we saw the experience from Lars Rorbakken. Flop press, no answer from Valera at all in the fifth or the sixth round. I think Valera should have been a little bit more patient. He should have probably even utilized the fouls more to his advantage. Try to get the faster starts, even though if it was an early foul. Then he lost the next 3 rounds trying to do the same thing against Lars Rorbakken's flop press. In the end, the result was a comeback win for Lars, which ended in a result of 4-3. Absolutely amazing match. I think Valera deserves the rematch anytime he wants, probably at a different stage, but he is already there. Devon predicted him to lose 6-0 in a smoke show and probably get injured. It was nowhere near that. Arif Artem versus Sergey Kalinichenko. Sergey Kalinichenko cannot impress us enough all the time he competes. Every time keeps on impressing. Arif went into one of the most deepest under the table illegal king's moves in the first round. Still, Sergey was able to switch to a flop press and beat him. The next round, Arif Artem was able to get a quick start, a very fast top roll flash, legit pin. They reviewed that pin. Sergey Kalinichenko was doubtful that he was false starting, as he was complaining even before the match, but the referees reviewed the pin was legit. There was no false start from Arif Artem. The third round, Sergey Kalinichenko showed the versatility once again. He was not versatile even a year ago when he was facing Zaranov and Wagner Bortolato, but he became versatile not only on the table but outside of the table as well. He started learning to speak English, improved his personality and got these big matches, and he's winning them. After that, Arif Artem was shooting for the hook. He was able to set the hook, but even in a hook, the side pressure from Sergey Kalinichenko was way too much and he couldn't be stopped by Arif Artem's hook power side pressure. Then Arif started going back to the king's move once again in the final rounds after trying to set the hook successfully in the fifth round, which didn't work again. And in the final round, the hook was set. Sergey pulled him out immediately, flopped his wrist back. Arif went into king's move. Sergey flop pressed him without the straps to the pad. 5-1 dominant victory from Kalinichenko. Then we have Larry Wheels versus Leonidas Arkona. Now this is a match that Larry needed to win, not only for the fans but for himself, for his kind of, I don't want to use the word emotional stability, because he looked after the match happy, but it couldn't be not hurting your soul from inside, losing that many matches. In the first round, Leonidas put the brakes on inside a hook, kind of an open hook, mini King's move. Larry couldn't do anything with it. He was just bouncing off a wall, which was moving slightly, but then it was a flexible wall, which was coming back, and looked like Larry popped something. He injured something. His tendon got injured, but he didn't feel any pain after that, so he gave his 100%. Leonidas always stopped him in his hook. Larry's pronation was not enough to get out of his hook, and Leonidas just waited patiently. The first surge didn't get the job done in many rounds, so he waited there, tired Larry out, and then pinned him with ease. Then Larry was almost about to go in a mini King's move kind of position in the fourth round, which was obviously stopped by Leonidas's cupping. Leonidas went sideways and then got the job done. 3 pins to 0 at this time, 4 pins to 0 at this time for Leonidas Arkona. And I think they pulled 5 rounds. The fifth round was also easy for Leonidas. Larry was not even once, no way close. If the win is here, Larry was probably at best 1/4 towards getting only 1 pin. And Leonidas flexing his biceps after the victory. He said that Larry is tough. That match may have looked easy, but the match was very tough. And then we have the gladiator Ermes Gasparini versus Vitaly Laletin. The first round, something which some people may have expected happened. Vitaly's immense grip strength, his crushing strength, proved to be way too much for Ermes to slip against. He tried slipping 3 times, but every time he got only elbow fouls. Vitaly didn't let go of his fingers. No slip permitted, Ermes. This is what Vitaly was saying in his mind, probably. So first round went to Vitaly Laletin. The second round, Ermes was somehow able to get a desperate slip. And inside the straps, Ermes was put on the B side by Vitaly. But then Vitaly, trying to pin Ermes, lost his wrist. Ermes regained position, stayed patient in the center, caught back, caught behind his shoulder and pressed for the win. I recapped it in about 5 seconds, but it took like 30 seconds for Ermes Gasparini to get that win. Third round, inside the straps, flash pin from Vitaly Laletin. It was total dominance. In the beginning, Ermes Gasparini's wrist, his hand touched, so it was not a pin. It was an elbow foul. There was a restart inside the straps, but then this time Vitaly hit even harder, and Ermes was clearly pinned this time. No doubts whatsoever remaining. This was a comeback, and people were saying that, yeah, Vitaly got this because he's not only up 2 pins to 1, but the rounds that he was winning were dominantly compared to the rounds that Ermes was winning, which were absolute wars. Actually, at that point, he had only won 1 round. The next round, Vitaly got Ermes to the side once again, but he lost his wrist. Ermes was bringing him back. Vitaly switched to a flop press. Bad idea. Ermes was about to break him before Vitaly elbow fouled. Once again, after the restart, Ermes was able to get a good position after the beginning, and then he pressed him to the pad. In the fifth round, Ermes Gasparini stopped Vitaly Laletin an inch from the pad. There were some restarts. Vitaly needed this round. It was a do or die situation, but Ermes stopped him right there. He brought him back, and right from the center, he didn't even wait to get here. Right from the center, he switched to a flop press and beat Vitaly. In the final round, once again, he got the stop, and then he beat him with a flop press once again. Right from the center, he switched to a flop press position. That was another dominant performance from Ermes Gasparini. The margin for error for both athletes was very slim, not that big, and Ermes capitalized on that. He did win this match. Final match, Georgi Tsvetkov versus Devon Larratt. Now, this was one match which was hyped by Georgi Tsvetkov way too much because of one practice poll which was never shown to us until about 2-3 hours ago. And that practice poll showed that Georgi Tsvetkov had absolutely no chance, which was quite evident in the match as well. He was able to get Devon's hand slightly. He was able to open his arm as well. But Devon was always laughing. He was always trash talking during the match. And Georgi was like, he couldn't even breathe because the gap was not there. There were no empty moments where he could just hit and relax. So Devon was coming forward with his shoulder after tiring Georgi out, and that's how he was winning. Not at any point in this match was Devon able to crack Georgi's wrist back. In fact, his own wrist went back slightly many times whenever Georgi was surging sideways, but then the arm was opening and it was coming back. So Devon was never in any danger, and he made Georgi Tsvetkov quit 5 times in a row, more than 5 times, because there were many elbow fouls as well. When Georgi decided he couldn't pull anymore, he just dragged his elbow off the back of the pad, and still Devon's angle did not open. When Georgi's elbow was way back of the pad, Devon's angle still stayed tight. That showed his dominance. That showed why he was laughing throughout the entire match, except for the first round when he was like very angry in almost a fighting mode. So the match was totally one-sided. Actually, way more one-sided than the left-handed match, and that was Georgi's whole argument, that his left is much weaker than his right. That's why he's going to give a better match to Devon on the right arm. But I will say after watching both of these matches that the left arm was more closer. So no point in reciting all of the matches again. Every single round went exactly the same way. But after the match, Devon did say that, Georgi, whatever I heard about you is correct. Your hand and wrist are really untouchable. I cannot do anything with your hand. I cannot take it. So Devon did not have the arm advantage. He was never able to move Georgi an inch from the center. When he hit, nothing moved. It stopped right in the center. There was one round where Devon attempted to go straight to a flop press. It was a foul because Devon's shoulder crossed the center and he still couldn't get the pin. Probably it was a bad idea from Devon. So hand and wrist stayed intact. Georgi still hasn't been top rolled, or his wrist has still not been buckled back. Devon was saying he's going to dad move and grandpa move. It was clearly not possible because even in the final rounds, Devon's arm was opening up. His hand was slightly going back whenever Georgi was trying to do that. Good guy, great personality, Georgi Tsvetkov, but man, you either need to be Levan, more versatility to be at the top of the level. Like only Levan is the one person who can be at the top of the world without being versatile with just one top roll move. Ermes Gasparini couldn't do that. Devon Larratt couldn't do that when Levan is at the top. Gennady Quickvinia couldn't do that. He has to switch to hook, press, flop press, everything. Then he got the job done over Devon. So that's the lesson. Either be Levan or be versatile if you want to be the king of